In today's video, we are going to learn how to make a weapon tray that'll show us how much ammo we have, what kind of fire mode we're in, all the kind of cool stuff, and I'll also show you a nice little bonus thing, so stick around. If you're new here, my name's Taken Grace, and I make Unreal Engine tutorials videos just like this. We just hit 1,500 subscribers, and memberships finally became available, so if you are interested in becoming a member for the channel, you'll have access to videos early and a couple of other great perks. But as always, if you like my content and want to support the channel in another way, I would really like a like and subscribe. Join the community, become better game devs with me. All right, but let's get into Unreal Engine and get started on our weapon tray. Okay, here we are inside of Unreal Engine 5. So as with the previous video I mentioned with the gameplay tags, we do need to make a enumeration for this. We're going to start in our data folder, and we need to make a new enumeration. Let's go to blueprint enumeration, and we're going to call this one fire mode. Okay, let's open that up, and we will make our ammo mode. So we'll start with single. We will do burst. We will do auto, and we'll do one just called for none, and that'll be for anything that is like a melee weapon or maybe doesn't specifically have a fire mode. That'll just be an option for you. So we're gonna back out of that, and now in our weapon data, we are gonna open that up, and we are going to add that enumeration that we just made here. Okay, we'll call it fire mode. That'll be E_fire mode. Okay, we'll hit compile. All right, so can we hit compile, and then we just got to open up each one of our weapons. Single is the default, so the only one we need to change is the SMG will be burst, and the other one is the AK will be auto. The rest of all of these will be single. Okay. All right, let's get started in making the actual widget. So the steps in today's video, we're going to make the widget, and we'll do a little bit of animation stuff. That'll be the bonus I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I will show you how to implement that weapon tray into your project, and then how to update all of the data when all of certain things happen here. Okay, so it'll be a bit of a longer video, actually. It'll take a little bit to actually make this weapon tray, probably about 20 minutes or so, and then another 20 to 30 minutes just to implement all of the actual stuff. So, all right, let's go into our UI folder. We're going to go into our assets folder. I'm going to give you guys some assets here. So actually inside, I think it's inside crosshairs, but I gave you guys the these weapon images, these equipment images, and these ammo images. Okay, so if you don't have those, they'll be in the description below, but if you've been following along the series, they should already be in here. The other thing is inside our data assets, if I just open up one of these, make sure that all of them have the weapon image set, the ammo image set, and then the obviously we just did the fire mode, but the name here, the weapon name. Okay, so that's all the stuff we're going to be using in this video. If you don't have that, I recommend you go check out the video that we made where we did all the data assets and filled all of those out, and you got all of those stuff for free. So I'll put that in the corner there for you guys if you have not seen that. Okay, but otherwise, let's get started on our weapon tray. So inside the UI folder, we'll go to widgets, and we'll make a new widget now called, whoops, I always forget that this extra thing pops up, called just weapon tray is fine. Let's open that up. Let's start with a canvas panel. Okay. All right, that canvas panel will just give us, allow us to anchor the stuff onto screen here. So let's get a border. This will be the background of our weapon tray. And let's anchor the border. We'll hold shift and control, and we'll anchor it to the bottom left. The reason I think bottom left, just because if I hit play here, our weapons here, so we don't want our weapon tray over top of our weapon. That's kind of lame. So we're going to put it over here in this like empty space. Okay, so okay, the border, let's size it to about, say, 300 by 200. Something like that. And then the position X and Y, let's do 100 by -100. Okay, so we'll put it kind of right there. We will change the brush color, which will be the tint here, to black with an opacity of 0.7. That'll give it kind of a bit of a see-through there. Okay. All right, so let's add an overlay onto this border, because the border can only have one child. As you can see, if we roll over, it's a single child, so we need something that we can attach multiple children to, and then we also want to overlay it with this border anyway, so that's why we're throwing that on there. We're going to add a vertical box to this overlay. This is going to have all of our stuff in it, and we're going to have the ammo. I'll put it on screen here just so you can see what the final thing looks like. We're going to have our ammo and our ammo image on one line, and then the next line will have our weapon name, our fire mode, and then underneath that we'll just have like a bit of extra stuff, which we'll do later in this tutorial series. But yeah, I'm sure you guys can add a few more things there if you want as well. Okay, so in our first vertical box here, we're going to put a horizontal box. Whoops, I didn't do that. There we go. Okay, and this horizontal box we're just going to rename ammo tray. Okay, in the ammo tray we're going to put some text, so we'll just put one text on, do all the work, and then duplicate it. Apparently the guys decided to cut the grass today, so if you hear that, my apologies. It's usually actually pretty good. You don't really hear it in the recordings, shockingly enough. But anyway, so we are going to align this center for now. We'll leave the padding alone until we get more stuff in there, and we'll see how it looks. The font is what I'm interested in. So I think the size should be like 75 for the actual ammo, and we'll just put 99 in here. That's the actual, like, our current ammo, so we should actually name that current ammo. Current ammo, and make sure that's a variable because we're going to change that. All right, and actually that should be it. I don't think we need an outline necessarily unless you want to add this. This is all stylistic stuff over here, so based on whatever you want for your game. So I think that's going to work for me. I'm going to duplicate that, and this is just going to be a slash. Okay, so I'm just going to put slash up here. This does not need to be a variable because we don't need to change that, and I'm going to make this 50 and probably align this down at the bottom here, just something like that. Okay, I'm going to duplicate current ammo again, and this is going to be our reserve ammo text. I'm going to actually add the word text onto here as well. Okay, let's make this on the bottom as well, and we'll change the size to probably 30, to be honest. And let's move it on the other side of this slash, just like that. Okay, and let's just add 999 in here because there will be 3 digits. Okay, there's our ammo. We're gonna add an image now, and this will be our ammo image, just to know what type of ammo it is. Okay, this needs to be centered, and we need to, I believe it is, yeah, we're drawing as an image. Let's make the image size 100 by 100. And it looks like we need to actually make this border a bit bigger, so let's maybe do 400. Yeah. Okay, so for padding for this, let's add to the left like 100, sorry, maybe 20. So we'll test this all out in a little bit here, but when this goes down to like the single digits, it'll actually move all of this over. Yeah, we'll see how it looks. That's what it'll look like for now. And perhaps actually maybe let's make this 50. Yeah, 40. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Let's just add an image in here. So remember that we want the image size to be 100 by 100. So as soon as you put that image in here, it's going to change to whatever the size of the image was. And here we go. So we'll do the medium ammo. So it made it bigger. So we'll just make this image size 100 by 100 again. See what it looks like. That actually looks kind of dumb. Let's make the X like 75. That looks way better. And now that we have the actual image in here, it actually looks, this actually looks a little bit too big, the border. Let's maybe make it 350. And we'll pull back some of the padding to 25. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let's maybe center this ammo tray. Do you have to center it in the vertical box or what? Okay, okay, I see. So yeah, we'll do this. The vertical box I had to center there. All right, so that's the ammo. All right, the next thing we need to add here. Oh, sorry, make sure that this is an image. Let's call it the ammo. We'll just do it up here because ammo image. What word is that? That is not what I wanted. That is also not the word I want. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. Okay, anyways, that is a variable. The only one that's not a variable in here is the slash, okay? We are going to duplicate ammo tray, and we will call it name and fire mode. Okay, let's go to let's go in here. Let's get rid of the ammo image. We don't need that in here. Let's rename this to weapon name, And let's rename this to fire mode. Okay, both of those will be variables. I think let's change this instead of a slash. Let's do that. If you hold shift and it's like right above the enter key, there's like a straight line. We'll just do that. And now we can make this be center. And the fonts here, I think we can go down to like 20. And same with this, maybe 20. And make this center as well. This little straight line, maybe let's make that 30. Whoops. Something like that. And then let's add padding to that slash, that straight up and down line, maybe like 20 on each side. All right, let's add a weapon name in here. We're just adding in random ones. That way, when we see our tray, we'll know if there's an issue with some data, if it has like these, you know, these names and stuff in them. That's kind of a good practice. Pump shotgun. So obviously the pump shotgun's not gonna have 99, 99, whatever. And then we'll make this, let's do burst. Actually, yeah, burst fire. So it's a little bit too small. Single fire, I think, will actually be the bigger. Let's put the biggest possible one in here just to see what it looks like. All right, maybe we back this off to 10, the padding here. Do we make this 18? Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. All right, the last one on here, we are going to duplicate this once again, and we'll call this grenade tray. Okay, in here, we're gonna keep this, but we're gonna add images here. So we're gonna add the image here, and we'll call this grenade. Grenade image, I should put. This does not need to be a variable because we're not changing these. And then we'll add one more to the grenade tray, and we'll call this med kit image. Same thing, this does not need to be a variable. This will be right here, and then this one will be boop, 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 right there. We're gonna change these to number of grenades, and this will be number of meds, I guess we'll call it. Okay. All right, so for this, let's just put a 3. And for this, let's just put a 3. So that's what you're getting. Let's make the grenade image the actual grenade image that you guys would have. Grenade frag. Let's make this 20 by 30. Or maybe the other way around, 30 by 20. Yeah, something like that. Okay, we're just zooming in a bit here just to see what it looks like. This image will make the med kit. Med kit. See what it looks like. 50 by 50, maybe 50 by 40, 30. Why do you look silly? Oh, I have it set to fill. Maybe we just set it to, there we go. So yeah, make sure that these are centered just so they don't look stupid. That looks pretty stupid though, I'll say. Let's do 20 and 30. There we go. And then let's shrink this a little bit, maybe like, so 50 and 30, so maybe like 35 and 20. Oh no, actually that looked pretty good. 25, there we go, something like that. All right, let's add a bit of padding for these guys. Maybe on the left, we'll do like 5. I don't even think we need this. Let's just get rid of this and add a bit of padding to the image or the number. Let's do the numbers. So we'll do right padding of 5 as well. And then this whole thing, this whole grenade tray, let's just make this go to the side just like that. Okay, if you want to add more padding, you can do that. It's up to you. This is all design stuff, so if you guys don't like anything that I've done here, you can change it and do whatever you want. The only things we need here, obviously, is to make sure that these 2 things are variables. We don't have any med kits or grenades in our game yet from this tutorial series. They are coming, but we're just going to add them to our weapon tray now just to have, just to kind of get it all set up. Okay. All right, the last thing we're going to do, we're all done with this vertical box and this overlay altogether. It's okay, so we're going to collapse that. We're going to add another border to the canvas panel. And this border we'll rename primary weapon border, I guess we'll call it. Oops, something happened where it's not typing there. Border. Okay. Let's anchor that to the same area down here. Holding shift and control just to get that there. Let's move it up here. Try to get it approximately. Actually, that wasn't bad what I just had there. That's not too bad. Okay, so clicking on that, let's get the brush color to be pretty much the same. Black and 0.7 in the alpha. Okay, the size now. So if you click on this border is 350 by 200. So we're going to fit two of these here, one for a primary weapon and one for a secondary weapon, and we're going to have the primary weapon one be a little bit bigger, obviously. So let's go to this and let's just size it. Let's just do -300 here just to have an even number, and 100. Okay. Let's do size of 200. Yeah, 200 by 100. That seems pretty obnoxious. What's 50 look like? That also seems slightly obnoxious. Let's do 150 by 100. That's still ridiculous. 75? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so 75, what is it? 75 by 150, just remember those because we're gonna duplicate this in a second and then we're gonna change the second size to be half of these values, okay? All right, so clicking on this, we're gonna add a scale box to this border so that we can scale the image that we're about to put in here down to a specific size. Okay, let's add that image in here. We're gonna call this primary weapon image. That is going to be a variable. Make sure that's a variable. Okay, next, for the scale box, we want to make sure we scale to fit, but we want to make sure that the vertical alignment is centered. Okay, we don't want the weapon getting stretched vertically because it'll look stupid. The padding, we will arrange that in a second here. I think the padding for this should be 5, like for the pardon me, the primary weapon border. Actually, maybe 2 now that I'm looking at it. Okay, there shouldn't be any padding for this. Let's get rid of that. Oh, actually, you know what? I lied. Maybe what's 5 look like? 2, something like that. Okay, so a bit of padding for the border slot, and for the image here, let's put in one of our weapon images. So just type in white underscore, and that should bring up pretty much everything that I made. So let's do the AK. So that looks pretty good. I would definitely double check all the weapons in here to make sure that they all don't look stupid. This is the hunting rifle we're not using in this project. The pistol, the rocket launcher looks pretty good. The shotgun looks pretty good. The SMG, a bit blurry, to be honest, but we'll see how it looks in real life. The sniper looks pretty good as well. Okay. Perfect. So those all look great. So let's move on to doing our secondary weapons. So we're literally just going to duplicate this, and you'll see that it's added it down here because it needs a position. So we're going to tell it up here for the position. Let's do, I think it was 100 in the X. Okay, that moves it over to be exactly the same as this. And we made this 150 wide. So we're going to add 150 to this. We'll do 250. And this, what do we put for, where is it? Primary weapon. What do we put for position? -300. So we'll do the same for this. Where are you at? Position Y, -300. There. Okay, so we are going to make this border smaller. So we'll make it half of this value. So 75 and I guess 35.5. Okay. So that'll be our secondary weapon. So let's name this as secondary weapon border. And the image we'll call the secondary weapon image. Perfect. Check all the guns in here. They should all be good as well, but you never know. That looks good. Shotgun looks good. RPG looks great. The Glock looks great. And the, where are you? AK looks great. All right, perfect. So that all looks great. So if you wanted to, I'm not going to do it here, but you could add some controls, which I would put on the canvas panel on their own. Okay, and just put some controls up here for you to switch your weapons and stuff, and then put like a G down here for grenades and 3 down here for your med kits or whatever the case may be. Okay, I'm not doing that on here, like I said. So this is the final completed weapon tray. So once again, we're making sure that all of the images are variables. These numbers are variables, these are variables, and the 2 numbers down here are variables as well. One thing I actually would recommend is every image that you see here, I would select all of those individually though, and wrap with a retainer box. What's a retainer box? This is going to reduce the amount of draw calls for this particular thing. This I would recommend for all the images. So images are going to be where you want to optimize the most, because that actually takes up the most space in memory is the images here. So if you only have to draw these once, because these aren't going to change unless we pick up a new weapon, and then we're going to rerun the tray anyway. So yeah, all of these images are not going to change. Specifically, these ones are not going to change. Okay, so we only want to draw them once, and then this is more of an optimization thing as a retainer box. You can also add some effect materials. So like, you know, if you wanted to add, I don't know, if it's an incendiary grenade and you wanted some material that like showed some sort of fire, you know, simmering or whatever, you can add that here to this retainer box. But it is used for an optimization thing here. So if you just roll over that, you can just read that little bit there, and it just tells you a little bit of what it does. Okay, so let's add a retainer box to this image, and I'm gonna add one to this image. Wrap with retainer box. This here I'm gonna also wrap with a retainer box. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Like, yeah, we obviously, you know, if you look at a size map for this, the images are going to be the biggest thing on here. Retainer box, and one more retainer box. Yeah, obviously we want to make sure that our game runs nice. Hit retainer box. There we go. All right. Don't do retainer boxes for anything like this. It's text, so it doesn't require a lot of obviously processing power anyway. Okay, that is our completed thing. So now for the bonus thing I was telling you guys about. So we're gonna animate these so that they flip back and forth based on what is currently equipped. Okay, so we're gonna open up animations. We're gonna make a new animation, and we're gonna call it weapon swap. Okay, there it is. Let's click on that. We want to click on, let's get rid of the border here. Primary weapon border and secondary weapon border. And we're going to go back to our animations, and we're going to add the primary weapon border canvas slot right here, and the secondary weapon border canvas slot. Okay. Let's just focus on these first, and then we'll focus on the other thing here first. So we want these to basically flip in position and size. So we set that all up here in the slot canvas panel. So you can see that we have these diamonds here. So that these are parameters that we can manipulate. Okay, so let's start with the primary weapon here. So let's add a canvas panel, hit the plus thing on the canvas panel slot, and we want to get layout data offsets. Okay, that's all of this stuff up here. If you drop this down, you'll see it says left, top, right, but this is actually the position X, position Y, size X, and size Y. Okay, it's just named weirdly for some reason. Okay, we're gonna add a keyframe right here, but nothing happens until you add another keyframe out. So let's go about 0.5 seconds down the timeline, add another keyframe. Now you can see that it's added all of that stuff here. Okay, so let's go to, this is the position. All right, so, and you'll notice we're gonna leave top alone because that is the position Y. We don't want that to change. We only want the X to change, okay? So remember that we made this 250. We're gonna make that 250, and now you'll see that it's lined up with that. And now we wanna half these. Okay, so let's go 75 and 30, what was it, 35.5. Okay, now that's exactly the same. We're gonna go back to the secondary weapon border canvas slot. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add a layout data offset. By the way, don't do these at the same time. Like, don't add the offset layer at the same time for both of them, because I found that kind of screwed things up a bit. So just do them one at a time here. We're gonna add make sure you add a keyframe at the end and the beginning. And now for this one, we're gonna set the left to be 100, and we're gonna set the size to be 150 by 75. Okay, so now they do a little switcheroony. Okay, but what we're going to do here is we are going to add the images to this as well. So we'll click on both images and then go back to the animation. And we want to add the primary weapon image and the secondary weapon image. Okay, what we want to do here is we want to, we'll click on both of these and we'll add render opacity. And that should have added it for both, or did it? Maybe it didn't. Okay, render opacity, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna go to the end here and we're gonna add a keyframe for this. Before we continue, let's click off of the animation to get rid of that blue border. We want this secondary image by default to be 0.5, so we're gonna set that. We're gonna go back to our animations now. We're gonna go to weapon swap. We're gonna make sure that the secondary weapon image's opacity on frame 0 is 0.5. And then we're going to essentially flip them. Okay, so this one was already set to 1 for the secondary, so it already blended from 0.5 back to 1, but this primary image now we want to make 0.5. Okay, so we're just flip-flopping those around. Okay, and that's going to happen. And how we're going to do this is when we switch to our primary weapon, we're going to play this from reverse so that it's going to reverse this. It'll all make sense later, but basically when we switch to our primary, it's going to play this in reverse and then hold frame 0. And then when we switch to our secondary, it's going to play forward and hold frame 0.5. Okay. And when we actually start this, it's going to be on our primary by default because that's how we've set it up. Okay. All right. So hopefully that all looks good here. So that's the first part of this tutorial. So if you guys have liked the video so far and are enjoying what we're doing here, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to the video, it helps the channel out quite a bit here. Okay. Let's move on to doing the scripting portion of this now. So we're going to work inside our HUD class, just like we did a couple videos ago. All right, so let's get out of this. Let's leave it open here, but we'll just minimize it here for now. Let's open our weapon tray and let's open up our HUD class. First, let's make sure this actually works. So we're going to go into our widgets to spawn function that we made a couple videos ago. Okay, here's where we made our crosshair and added it to our screen. Now we're going to drag out of then one and we're going to create widget. There we go. And this will be our weapon tray. Let's promote that to a variable so that we can access this widget later. Weapon tray, we'll call it. Okay, we will add it to our viewport. And we will drag out a weapon tray again and we will set visibility to be not hit testable self and all children because we are not interacting with our with our cursor. We are only showing it to the player. Okay, so we'll compile. Let's test it out and hit play. There's our weapon tray. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that myself. Okay, so now let's get all the data to work. Okay, we're gonna make a new function called set weapon tray. We're gonna call this as soon as we start our game after we've got our weapon spawned in, and then we're also gonna call it every time we either pick up a new weapon or switch our weapons. Okay, so okay, there's a couple steps to this. We're actually gonna stop here and we're gonna make a couple of interfaces here. Okay, so we're gonna be able to obviously get our data where we need to via interface. The first one will be in our ammo that we made for our ammo video there. Okay, so we're gonna add a function in there and we're gonna call it get current, pardon me, just to avoid confusion, let's say update current ammo. And this will have an input of our current ammo and make that an integer. Okay, this is what we're gonna do every time we fire our weapon. We're gonna update our current ammo on our HUD with this particular interface. Okay, we'll add another one. Update reserve ammo, and this will have an output of integer. We'll have ammo left, we'll call it. Okay, this is going to get our reserve ammo every time we reload. Okay, let's go into our player character and we're gonna set that what we just made there. This has already been implemented, this interface, because we did it for all of our ammo stuff that we did in the other video. But if not, you just go to class settings and implement the interface right here. Implement interface, add, and then add the BPI ammo. Okay. So we're gonna find update reserve ammo. You'll see that's not yellow, which means we can add a function in here. All you need to do for this is get your equipped weapon, and we need to get the gun data from there, and we need to get our ammo type. Okay. From ammo type, we are going to get a switch node, or switch node, pardon me. Okay, we want to know what ammo type we're rocking here for our equipped weapon. And based on that, we're going to get our small ammo, and then we're going to go all the way down to our small ammo right down here and plug that in. Okay, and you're just going to redo that we'll just duplicate this a couple of times here. Okay, we'll plug in our medium ammo, heavy shotgun and rockets, and then we'll plug in the appropriate ammo types here. Thought we were done with all this ammo stuff, weren't you? But that was actually a fun video. I actually didn't mind doing that ammo video, and this is actually a good video too. I really like doing UI stuff. It's kind of my favorite, to be honest. Anyway, so we got that all done. So look just like that. I think that's it for a player. We'll just leave the player open. We do got to come back here later to implement some stuff. Okay, inside our HUD class, we need to implement the ammo interface here. So we'll go to our class settings and we'll scroll down till we go BPI ammo. We'll implement that because we need to have this event, the where'd you go? Update current ammo. We need that event for later. We need to make one more interface, which will be in our BPI weapon update. Okay, we need to, every time we switch our weapon, we want to do that animatable thing here that we just made. So we'll make a new function inside here, and we'll just call it switch weapon HUD. We're gonna have two inputs, and both of them are gonna be of type weapon class object, and it's gonna be equipped weapon, and this will be a weapon, go my god, weapon class object, and then one more called primary weapon. And this is just going to basically check if we have our primary weapon equipped or not, and then that'll run the animation that we made. Okay, so we'll hit compile. We'll get out of that. Let's go into our HUD class now. First thing we need to do is we need to verify that all of this stuff is actually valid, because if you're in a game where you're unarmed, or if you don't start with a secondary weapon, or any of that kind of stuff, we want to make sure that all of this stuff is being checked and is validated, just so that we don't get any access non-errors. Okay, first thing we need to actually check. So I'm going to show you guys something later. Let's grab our player character, or do we have our player character here? We don't. Okay, so this is actually a good example. So let's get player character, and let's get our player ref interface that we made so that we don't have to cast our player. Okay, let's promote player to a variable, and we're going to call it player. We're going to drag this player out, and we're going to right click and convert to validate get. We're going to confirm that our player variable is valid, and if it's not, then we're going to get our player from our interface. Okay, let's just collapse this to a node here. Let's call it player ref. Player, I can't type, man. Player ref. There comes that mower again, lawnmower guy. All right, player ref. I'll just go back in here and plug our player ref into our outputs here. All right, so right here, weapon tray. All right, so if he's not valid, we're going to check that. Otherwise, we're going to skip this part. Next, we're going to get our player. Actually, I guess we can just drag it out of here. Get our player, and we're going to get our equipped weapon. We're going to convert that to a validate get. We're going to confirm if our equipped weapon is valid. If it's not, we are going to hide our weapon tray. So we're going to drag out of, we're going to get our weapon tray down here, and we're going to set visibility to hidden. Okay. We're not going to, if we have no equipped weapon, that means that we don't have any weapons at all. So we're going to just hide our weapon tray so we don't see it. All right. And then this player ref will plug right into here. Okay, so we'll just do that. All right, so if it is valid, we are going to drag out of here and we're going to get the gun data. We're then going to get our gun image. Or is it, what is it? Image. Weapon image? Weapon thumbnail. There it is. That's what it's called. And then we are going to get our weapon tray and we are going to grab the primary weapon image. You know what? Sorry, I made a mistake. We don't want equip weapon. We want our primary weapon. So we're going to delete this. Primary. Get primary weapon, convert that to a validate get, and then we'll just do everything as we had it before, minus, you know, that mistake. Plug that in there, and is not valid goes down here. Okay, so from the primary weapon image, we want to set brush from texture. Okay, and the texture we're going to plug in is this weapon thumbnail. We want to check match size, and the reason for that is because if we don't check that, it's going to appear really silly looking when we actually add these images in. This way, it'll maintain the size that we set in our weapon tray. So it'll maintain these sizes here. Okay. All right, the set visibility node and all that, we're going to skip this. And what we're going to do actually is we're going to copy this. Or copy, pardon me, select this and collapse that to a node, and we'll call this primary weapon. And now we'll plug this into here. Let's get rid of self, and we'll just go back in here and make this just the player thing right like that. Okay, let's hit compile just to make sure there's no errors. Yeah, it looks like we're all good. And then we'll put this into our output so we can keep it on trucking. Okay, there's primary weapon. Let's duplicate this graph that we just made. Plug that in. We're going to rename this to secondary weapon. We'll go in there, and we just need to change this to the secondary weapon. We'll get the secondary weapon, convert to validate get. Plug that in. Is not valid into this. This will be different though, because if our primary weapon exists, doesn't exist, we're going to hide the whole thing. If it does, if the secondary weapon doesn't exist, we only want to hide the image of. And I actually just realized something else I forgot to do. Sorry, let's go back to primary weapon. After the set brush by texture, we need to set the weapon tray to visible, because if for some reason you are unarmed and we've hidden it, so sorry, set visibility, and you've hidden it, and then all of a sudden you get a weapon, it would not, we need to unhide that, obviously. Okay, so let's set this to not hit testable self and all children, and let's plug this into, actually that doesn't need to plug into anything, does it? Oh no, we'll plug it in anyway. Okay, so we will plug this into here. That looks all done. I'm just looking, it all matches, so. Okay, so we got that done. Let's go back into our secondary. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna set the visibility. We're gonna get rid of this actually. Weapon tray, we're gonna get the secondary weapon image, and we're gonna set this to hidden. Set visibility, hidden. Okay. Just like that, and then we'll plug this in as well. And the gun data secondary image, this will be secondary, get secondary weapon image. There we go. So yeah, it was basically the same as the first one. We're just flipping up in primary, all the primary stuff to secondary. So I'm just checking to make sure that that is indeed the case here. And we're going to hit compile. Now everything checks out. Perfect. All right. So that, I think we're going to just select all of these and collapse all of these to a node as well, and just say checks validity. I don't know how you, I guess that's how you spell it. It checks validity and sets images. Okay. We do need to go in here and plug this into the output so that we have our execution pin there. All right, let's check and actually make sure that that works. Set weapon tray we need to make sure is on. So here's what I'm going to show you here. First, let's go into our first person character, And let's go into our function that we made called player defaults. Okay, in here, this is where we set our primary and secondary weapon. After we've spawned both of these weapons into the world, let's get our HUD and let's set weapon tray. Okay, this is where it's actually going to go. I'm going to show you guys something else after though, and just explain something, because this happens quite a bit. This comes up quite a bit in my Discord, to be honest. So there's our weapon tray, and you can see that it's set the images to be the actual guns that we have equipped, which is our AK and our pistol. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you that thing. Don't follow along with this because this is the correct way to do it. If I disconnect this and in my HUD class, because what a lot of people will do is they're like, okay, well, you know, our HUD class on our event begin play, now I'm going to run the set weapon tray so that it gets all of the stuff in here. And you're going to think that that works properly because in here you have a, we're getting a reference to our player. And if our player doesn't exist, then we're getting our player, right? So if I actually play, you can see that the weapon tray didn't show up. The reason the weapon tray didn't show up is because our player actually doesn't technically exist. Our HUD class initializes before our player character. So when it tried to get this value of, look at all these, oh boy. So yeah, when we run this node off of our event begin play on our HUD, it's checking, is our player valid? It's not valid because we haven't set it yet. So it's gonna run down here and then it's gonna try to get your player character from the interface. Okay, but since our player technically doesn't exist, this actually just sets the player as nothing. Okay, and then it can't pull any of these other data assets, right? Or all of these other assets in here. So we're getting our player here and getting our primary weapon, but our player doesn't exist. So there's nothing that it can pull here, right? So it's saying that the primary weapon is not valid, and then it's hiding the whole weapon tray. Okay, that's why it doesn't work. And if that, just keep an eye on that, because I've actually seen quite a few people mention this on the Discord. If for some reason you're getting an access none error saying like your player doesn't exist or anything like that, it's literally because some of the things in Unreal Engine initialize before your player, especially if you have a big dependency chain with your player, where your player is attached to a bunch of different blueprints. All of those blueprints need to load first before your player loads in. Okay, so adding these checks everywhere is actually really good, just to make sure. All right, so hopefully that was helpful, because yeah, maybe I'll make another video on it some other time if it's not clear. Just let me know in the comments down below there. But anyways, back in my first person character, I'm gonna connect this and then I'm gonna delete the, it was an event graph right here. Delete this guy. Okay, that's why a lot of people get confused, because they're like, well, it's on my event begin play, so it should work. I don't understand. And then everything was technically coded correctly, but you just need to understand that the HUD class, this specifically because this is one of the base classes in the game mode. I don't know if it does it in order. If I actually open that up, we can maybe see that. Yeah, so I mean, if it loads in this order, the HUD class would technically load before the player, right? So that would make sense. I don't know if that's the actual case or not, but I know that that's the reason that you get a lot of access none errors. So, okay, anyways, back to the regular scheduled programming. Okay, so we tested it out. The images show up. Now we need to update the rest of the data. Okay, so we're going to do that also inside of our HUD class's set weapon tray. Okay, so all you need to do is get your weapon tray a bunch of times and get all of those things that we need to set. So we need to set our current ammo, get current ammo text, and we need to set the text for that. Okay. And I don't know if we just do this and then sure, why not? And then we need to get reserve ammo. Whoops, not that. Sorry, that was the wrong thing. Set reserve. Not set. I just need to get reserve ammo. Text, there we go. Then we need to set text. Might as well do all the text related stuff. So we'll get the weapon name. Where are you? Get weapon. Get weapon name. That's the one. Set text. Okay, here we go. And then the fire mode is what's next. Get fire mode. Set text. And the last one we need is, I believe, oh, the ammo image. Get ammo image. Okay, we don't have anything to drive the like the grenade and the med kit amounts, but this is where you would add it once we do get there. So ammo image, we're going to set brush from texture, and we'll plug all of these in. All right, so that's all the things we need to set. Now we just need to get the data for all those. So the current ammo we have in our equipped weapons. We'll get player, get equipped weapon, and then get current ammo. There's that. Try to make this a little bit neater. Perfect. All right. This is the reserve ammo text, which is also in our player. So we're just going to drag out our player, and we need to get the, we need to update current ammo, or pardon me, not current, reserve. Update reserve ammo, the BPI there. Okay, and then we'll plug this in right there. Okay, and weapon name, that'll be in our equipped weapon once again. Get player, equipped, get equipped weapon. We need to get our gun data because that's where all of our data asset stuff is. Gun data. And then we need to get weapon name. Okay, we'll just drag out a gun data here, and we're gonna get fire mode. So this is an enumeration. There's two conversion nodes that we need to actually make this into a text, because you'll see that if I try to do this, it'll be like, no. So just convert this to a string, enum to string, and then the string can become a text. Okay, so that's what that'll be. And then we need our gun data once again. I'll just drag it here, and we're gonna get our weapon thumbnail, or pardon me, the ammo image, ammo thumbnail. Ammo thumbnail. And we'll plug that into texture, and we will match size to that as well. Okay, let's hit compile. Let's just make sure all this works. We're gonna hit play. There's all of our actual data that is completely for this gun. Okay, so you can see now, like, you know, obviously nothing happens when I shoot, so we're gonna do that next, where I update the current ammo. Okay, and let's do that right now. So we need to go into our weapon class. So inside our weapon folder there. Okay, here, let's go into the macro we made, -1 bullet. Okay, let's just drag out of here, and we're gonna get our HUD. And then we are going to update current ammo message. Okay, and we're gonna drag that right into there. We'll hit compile. Now every time we shoot, it should update that, which it's not. Oh, because I'm sorry, because we didn't do the event. In our HUD class, we're gonna go back to our event graph, and we're gonna right click on update current ammo and implement event. And then all we need to do here is get our weapon tray, get our current ammo text, current ammo text. And then we just need to set text to be this guy. Okay, let's hit compile. Now it should work. So here's a great example. So I'm sure this is happening to you guys, but if you watch slowly, I'm gonna shoot. It's not gonna change, and then it's gonna update to 28, and then it's gonna work. Okay, and if I switch my gun here, actually it won't work because we haven't done the switch weapon thing yet, but okay, what's happening there is if I go into our weapon class here, it's gonna run this. Our HUD is not going to exist yet, okay? It's gonna set it somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure where, but we'll get into our, where are we? We want the fire logic. This is why I like collapse graphs too, because you can just find it in the event graph here. So single fire logic. So we get our, here we go, right here. This is where we get our HUD class and check if it's valid. And then if it's not, then we get a reference to it and then set it, okay? But we fire our bullet before this happens. So the first time we actually fire, we don't have a reference to our HUD class anywhere. Okay, so we can either add this, actually let's add it here. I'm not adding it on event begin play for literally the reason I explained earlier, just because the weapon class might not initialize, or might initialize before the HUD class or whatever the case is. So, I'm just gonna add it here. All right, so we're gonna add that here. So we're gonna check. We're gonna convert this to a validate get. If it's not valid, we're gonna get actor of class. And we are HUD class. Then we're gonna set that variable. Okay. Some advanced level stuff today. Actually, we'll just get rid of that. We'll just plug into there, and then if it is valid, we're just gonna do what we would normally do. So, all right, so that will fix that issue. We'll hit compile. All right, we'll just test it out here, and you'll see that it updates normally now. Okay, so that was the reason that wasn't working. Next, let's do the here we go. So when we reload our gun or run out of ammo or whatever. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to do in the ammo in the reload video. I'm gonna show you guys here in a sec. So I just reloaded my gun, but it didn't update my reserve ammo. So we're gonna work on that next. Okay. So in our weapon class, we're gonna go to the reload logic right here. I forgot to tell you guys, where was it? Oh, it's in the firing logic actually. Single fire logic right here. Add ammo reload check. So if we check if we have any ammo left and we can't, or we stop firing because we don't have any ammo left, then we're gonna just check and see if we can reload here. So we're gonna just add reload query here as a function. Okay. So I forgot to do that in the reload video. So there you guys go. And then, yeah, we're gonna be back in our weapon or reload logic here. Okay, so when we're reloading, we need to update somewhere, which will be probably down here. Yes. Right before we switch or end our weapon switching animation, we are going to add in the update the reserve ammo. All right, so just before this, actually, we need just a little bit more room because here we need to update our current ammo because we just reloaded, so that's obviously going to be changing. And we need to update our reserve ammo because we obviously just pulled from there to reload our guns. So we're going to get our player. We need to get the equipped weapon. And we need to get the current ammo because all the math at this point will be all done. And then we need to drag out our HUD here. And we need to current ammo, update current ammo message. So we'll update that here. Okay, after that, we need to drag out of our player and we need to update reserve ammo message. Okay, so we're gonna find out what ammo we have left, and then we're going to just set that text here from the weapon tray. So we'll get our weapon tray widget, and then we will get the reserve ammo text, and then we're just gonna set text in here. Okay, because we already have the data rate available to us right here, so. Okay, and then we'll plug this in and we'll continue on doing all of that stuff. Okay, so this should work now. So we will fire a couple shots here and then we'll reload our gun, and then now it should update both of those, which it did. Okay, perfect. So that's done. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to deal with the switching weapons stuff. Okay, so first things first, in our HUD class, let's get the switch weapon HUD and implement that event. Okay, first let's drag out of equip weapon. We're gonna get an equals node. We're gonna check if our equip weapon equals our primary weapon. Okay, we're gonna get a branch. Next, we're gonna grab our weapon tray. We need to get obviously the weapon tray as well as the animation, which is the weapon swap animations. Okay, let's drag out of there. Let's get a play reverse. Okay, so remember when we're playing reverse, we're switching from our secondary back to our primary. So if our equipped weapon equals our primary weapon, that means that we are going to play this in reverse. Okay, and we need to plug weapon tray into target, and that looks good. Next, let's drag out a weapon swap once again, and now we're going to play forward. Okay, and then make sure weapon tray is plugged into target once again. That's all we need to do for this, for inside this, but we actually need to call this event. We need to call this event anytime that we are switching our weapons. So we're going to go into our player character. We're going to find the, we're going to go into the event graph. Is it the event graph? No, it's the controls. We're going to open the controls, find switches to primary. We're going to open that up. And right here before this delay, because we're going to do that delay just to buy us some time to get our to add for our animation there. So let's add it right here. Okay, anyways, let's grab our HUD, and we're going to switch weapon HUD message. Okay, we're gonna grab that, plug that in right here, and then we obviously need our equipped weapon. Oh, we need a primary weapon too. I just saw that before, the equipped weapon, so I'll grab that first. Equipped weapon right here. Okay, plug those in. Let's copy this, and we'll hit compile, make sure there's no errors. There's not. We'll go back to our controls, and then we will do our secondary now, right before our delay. There we go. So that's all we need to do there. Let's see if this works. We'll hit plus, we'll switch. There's our secondary, and then we switch back to primary. So that all works really good. All right, so that's the one other things we need to work on is we need to be able to change all of our data once again when we actually switch our weapons. And that's as easy as in our HUD class, right up the end of this, adding your set weapon tray. Just gonna run that function again, reset all the things. We'll hit compile, we'll test that out now. So, oh, that is, something went amok there. I think it was the weapon image. Maybe this one, ammo image. Let's just uncheck match size. Okay, we'll hit play, and okay, that did fix it. Okay, so there, that's that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, obviously, if we pick up a weapon, it's not refreshing it unless we switch and then switch back. Okay, so every time we pick up a weapon, we need to run the set weapon tray. Okay, so let's go back into our weapon class, and let's find that pickup weapon, or is that in our player? Is it in our player? Event graph, pickup ground weapon. Yeah, it's in our player character. Okay, we're gonna do that just before this delay, where we are ending our animation there. So we will just grab our HUD class, and then we will run the set weapon tray. Okay, I think actually that should be all of the little things here. So let's hit play. So our weapon tray looks pretty good. We're gonna switch our weapon. It's gonna update for everything. So we're gonna reload. It's gonna update our ammo correctly. We're gonna pick up the sniper rifle. Now it's gonna change to all of the data for the sniper rifle. And it's still gonna work all that. The SMG, whoops, sorry, the SMG, because the SMG looked weird. It actually doesn't look too bad. It looked a bit weirder when we were actually designing it, but it doesn't look too bad now. So that all looks pretty good. And all the data is updating correctly as well. So yeah, there you guys go. You have a weapon tray, and I really hope that that is something you guys are really looking for. Okay, in the next video, we are gonna be doing, I'm gonna be doing all the logic for the shotgun, because the shotgun is super special. Obviously, we don't want to shoot one specific line trace for the shotgun. We want to have, you know, 8 different line traces for the shotgun, because every single shot from that shotgun is going to be doing a lot of damage. Okay, so that, and then obviously the rechambering and the reloading. It's basically a shotgun specific video because it's all special. Okay, I will also touch on the sniper as well, because the sniper, when you shoot, is going to have a rechamber as well. So we'll incorporate that into the sniper rifle while we do the shotgun. So that'll be in the next video. If you guys like the video, would love a like and subscribe from the channel here. And thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate you making it all the way to the end here. Okay, if you want to keep learning stuff, well, the next video is on its way out. You can check out this video that I have here. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.